Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles the Band Student. Welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. And we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And we see them today. We got a very, very interesting show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we're trying to hit a goal of 200,000 subs by the end of this month. So we appreciate if you guys help us hit our goal by subscribing to the channel. Anyway, let me get into this topic. Here. So, as you guys know, there's going to be a pretty big game this night, a game 6, an elimination game for the Minnesota Timberwolves against the reigning champs in the Denver Nuggets. Now, how do we get here? The series started off obviously with the Denver Nuggets going down 0-2, at home, which surprised a lot of people. And then game 3, they go and win in Minnesota, and in game 4, they win in Minnesota, and we were like, wow, okay, the Nuggets are back in this series. And then game 5, they were able to win that game in a very convincing manner. More importantly, Nikola Jokic had one of the most dominant single performances in NBA history, where he had a 40-point game on 68% shooting from the field. I believe it was 68.2% shooting from the field where he had 13 assists, 7 rebounds. I think he had a block and 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers. You hand over. You distribute the ball to 13 times, and you only have a single. You don't have even a single turnover to your name. Is extremely impressive. So one would have thought that, listen, people would be propping him up and pushing him, but it seems like that's been the opposite. And then this morning, I woke up and I came across a clip from the Odd Couple featuring Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. And Rob Parker started to talk about this fear that he believes that the NBA has of Nikola Jokic becoming the face of the league. And during his conversation, he was also speaking to Antonio Daniels, the former NBA player who calls games, I believe, for the New Orleans Pelicans. And he actually was on a call with him, and he actually started to agree with some of the points that Rob Parker was making. So those are really the comments that we want to get into today. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Game Time, who's the official sponsor of today's show. Game Time Tickets is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets faster and easier than ever. For example, I am super excited about the games between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves this week. With Game Time Tickets, I can easily pick the best tickets for me. I love that I can choose between different deals. I have the option to select the cheaper deal, the best option deal, or my favorite, the flash deal. The flash deal gives me the option to find discounts that I can only find on Game Time. Once I select the ticket I want, I can view my seat. And it's not just restricted to the NBA. I can also look for the best ticket deals for other sports like football, baseball, or concerts, or comedy or theater shows. Included in my purchase, I also have a 24-hour return guarantee, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is play exactly what Rob Parker had to say during this conversation on the Odd Couple alongside Antonio Daniels, and then I want you guys to listen to that, and I'm going to come back and react to the comments. Take a listen to that there.
You're right, Chris. There is a difference between saying Denver's going to lose and writing off Jokic.
That's
you know how many
all
people
I'm saying.
called in? Right. You know how many people called in our Sirius XM show when Denver was down 0-2 and called Nikola Jokic overrated?
Thank
and
you.
said that the Denver Nuggets team was overrated. That they knew that he wasn't this good. They just had an easier run last year in the playoffs.
Thank you.
All
That's what
these
they tried to
hurt.
discredit him.
Yes, no question about it. They definitely tried to discredit him. And with me, this is the funniest and most frustrating thing about covering the playoffs is the fact that the narratives change so quickly. Now the phone stopped ringing. The phone stopped ringing about those that were writing off Nikola Jokic. Now it's going the other way. Now all because somebody has to get blamed when you lose. No teams just lose and just walk off in the sunset, especially in the postseason. Like, it's a blessing and a curse to make it to the postseason. The blessing is you make it to the postseason. The curse is the fact that when you lose, conversations are had that aren't had otherwise.
Giving receipts like that, I'll accept that. If you had callers calling in saying Jokic isn't as good, and I didn't see that, but that's fine. If you say that, that's good. I'll accept that.
I tried to tell you. Okay.
Rob said that.
Wrong.
Rob said that. If you would tell me callers like that,
I didn't write down everybody's name, but I'm just talking about, Antonio, the vibe that I got, the reason that people were so quick to give up. You just talked about it. They won a championship, and right away they lose 2 games, and they were waiting because there's to me, this is just what I feel. There's no math to this. There's no science, okay? Is that they don't want him to be the best player. They would rather not him be the best player. They would rather not.
Why?
And because he doesn't fit in with everything that's the NBA. This guy comes over, he treats this job like a 9-to-5, Antonio. Like, he's working, he's over here, he can't wait for the season to be over. He can't wait to go back to his homeland, right? And play around with his horses and live that life. He's not a part of this. He doesn't care about this stuff. He's not wrapped up in social media and beefs with other people.
I know, but my thing is, I'm not saying I disagree with you, Rob, but what I'm asking is, if they don't want Jokic to be that guy, who do they want to be that guy?
They want Ant-Man. They were hoping against hope that this guy who won 1 playoff series in his life and was up 2-0, that they were ready to stay. I've seen it before. Devin Booker, he's the next Kobe Bryant. They were up 2-0 in the finals against Milwaukee.
Right.
Chris Paul is a top 5 point guard now. Once he wins the championship.
About Chris Paul.
I'm just saying, like, this is what people do, and if they could discard Jokic, they would. That's all I'm saying.
Antonio, do you think that?
I don't disagree with that.
So you heard what they had to say, and then they took it a step further when they said, "Well, who do you want? Who do you think the NBA wants to be the face of the league?" And they said, what is it, Anthony Edwards. What are my thoughts on this? First of all, I believe that there's truth to this. And I want to say that I can understand it from the standpoint of the NBA. Why? The NBA, man, has been a product that has been dominated by homegrown athletes, from the Larry Birds to the Magic Johnsons, to the Michael Jordans, to the Kobe Bryants, to the LeBron Jameses, and of course the Stephen Curry, and the list goes on and on. Kevin Durant and all of these guys. These are all American players, and it's a sport that was popularized in the United States. So it would make sense. It makes sense for them to continue to market the game around, their fans around the state, fans in the States, but what has happened over the last 15 to 20 years in the NBA is that it has become a global game. And the irony of that is the NBA has been the one that has promoted this. And it really started off with Yao Ming. When Yao Ming initially came to the NBA, it was a very, very big deal, especially in China. But at the time, the NBA was trying to expand its brand, expand its viewership demographics, and go out there and get people around the world. And since then, we've seen a lot of great international players. Of course, you had Hakeem Olajuwon, who was there. But if we're talking about the last, let's say, 10 years, there have been a lot of great international players. You have players like SGA. You have players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, of course, Luka Doncic. You have Joel Embiid, who's from Cameroon, but just recently became an American citizen. Then you have Nikola Jokic, and some other players that I probably can't think of at the moment. Jamal Murray, he's from Canada as well, right? So you have all of these guys, and with that, you have these players from all over the world, and you're now beginning to bring in their fan base. And once you bring in their fan base, you're bringing in new eyeballs. But then the question then becomes, why is the NBA not promoting these stars as much? And I think, and I could be 100% wrong, but I think that maybe the numbers don't match up. Maybe there's more viewership within the United States, and therefore it would make sense to continue to promote some of those type of stars. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't know the numbers and all of that. But in the case of Nikola Jokic, had it been another player, for example, let's say it was Anthony Edwards in Nikola Jokic's seat, and it was the opposite. that, now the Minnesota Timberwolves have come back and won 3 games. They would have been calling him the next Michael Jordan and all of that. There would have been all of this fanfare, all of this hype surrounding him. So I think there's some truth to that. I think what Rob Parker is saying is something that I think a lot of us see. Now, I'm not going to take the people seriously that act like, oh, well, I don't know what Rob is talking about. Then just go stick your head in the sand and go do something else with your time. Because I think what he's talking about is a real thing. Is it going to remain like this moving forward? I don't know. To me, listen, I've been saying it over the last few years. If the NBA game gets, taken, if foreign players take over the NBA, American players will have no one to blame but themselves. That's just the truth. They will have no one to blame but themselves, because they don't really care about the game, if we're being honest. A lot of these guys today feel like it's their right instead of a privilege. And you see it. You see how they perform in all-star games. You see their general attitude. They have this nonchalant attitude about the game where they don't really care about the fans. A lot of the NBA has become about money, right? So they don't really view the NBA as, something that they need to preserve and push forward with the heritage and all of the stuff that players before them that did from the 90s, the 80s, the early 2000s, and so on. And this is what you have. You have other guys coming from different parts of the world, coming up in better systems, and they're coming to the States and basically taking everybody's lunch money. And that is essentially what is happening right now. So it's a complex issue. I think there are a lot of variables to it, but I thought, hey, listen, this would be something interesting to share with the audience today. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Rob had to say? What do you think about today's analysis? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.